Comparing my video on the water principle to the one on sun exposure, I was disappointed in the way I did it. I concentrated entirely on the teachings of Ellen G. White, which are great, that's the purpose of these videos, but I scrimped on other aspects which were included in the one on sun exposure. So what I want to point out is water is actually a very important element to the human body, of course. Between 55 and 75% of the human body is made of water, depending on age. And what's important, and you see this throughout human civilization, and again, when you're looking at the civilized world, you see such as the Roman aqueducts. Most civilizations were coastal at first. Most villages, of course, were centered around a well or some other water source. This is because water is essential to life, and as Ellen White said, it is one of heaven's choicest blessings if you choose to believe in heaven. But it is completely natural, and it is of nature as we are, okay? Now, the thing is, again, you will see this in many different pantheons, water deities and such. What people need to understand is deities are basically forces of nature that have been turned into things to be revered or feared, and you will see this depending on the level of civilization. For example, fire can either be something to be feared or something to be seen as with, let's say, Vulcan, the god of the smith, or things of that nature. And the same is true with water. Water can either be terrifying in the sense of Tiamat, or it can be life-giving in the sense of other water deities, such as the Anglo-Saxon Conventina. And that's my point. What I do want to point out, though, how I view the 8 laws of health and the teachings of Ellen G. White. Okay, for people that want to claim, that think I should revere Jesus, that's fine. Your hang-ups aren't mine. And I do revere Jesus. I do see the teachings of Jesus as very important. But I do not see Jesus as the only such teacher. There are many teachers, including people like Saint Germain, Aleister Crowley. There are Ellen G. White. There are other people that have brought us these these forms of knowledge, and yes, there are people that are more attuned, as I have stated, to that force of nature which we call God. And yes, one of them was Jesus, and Jesus made heavy use of naturalistic allegories in his teachings to his disciples and to modern Christians if they choose to look for these things. My point is, the way I view the 8 laws of health is as Western internal alchemy. For people that are unfamiliar with alchemy, they should really familiarize themselves with it. In the Eastern alchemy, there is external alchemy and internal alchemy. External alchemy takes place in the laboratory. Internal alchemy takes place in the human body. And I do see what Ellen G. White teaches being far, 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 far superior to what the Taoists teach, because it is free from that Oriental superstitious attitude present in things like, for example, Falun Gong or things of that nature. What is interesting about Ellen G. White's writings is, despite the fact that they are hardcore true Christianity, they are more true to Christianity than most other forms of Christianity. In fact, I would say any other form of Christianity I'm familiar with, they are more true to the biblical teachings and the teachings of Christ than Catholicism, mainstream Protestantism, and certainly evangelicalism, or evangelical Christianity. But in the same sense, they are free of the superstitious hang-ups in a lot of ways, in the sense that they are definitely proven to work. You do this, and this will happen. There is no need for belief in the 8 laws of health, with the exception of trust in the divine power, okay? But I'm going to cover that next, and I'm going to explain how this is different for someone such as me that's a scientific pantheist versus somebody that's, say, a born-again Christian or something like that. But it is no less necessary, and this is something that I shunned out of a ridiculous hang-up of my own. I had to come out of my own hang-ups and my own prejudices to understand that it is okay to trust in the divine source. But that source needn't be the biblical God. It is very much a natural force, as is, the biblical God is more or less a bastardization of nature, as is many other religious interpretations of nature. That is what the God Most High is, the Godhead, if you will. And that's it for this video.